You are Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh, Nuggets Nation, I think Nug Life may be back. At least tonight it was, or this morning. This is not an April Fool's joke, as the Denver Nuggets lose to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Your final score here tonight, 140-139. And tonight's episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off of your first purchase. I am your host, Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. And do me a favor, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button as well. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast. Again, I'm at Media by AP. And the Russell Westbrook experience coming full circle tonight for the Denver Nuggets. We'll get into that throughout the course of the show. Some thoughts on Nikola Jokic with a career-high 61 points. Aaron Gordon did his thing as well with 30 tonight. So some good, a lot of bad. We just got finished listening to Nikola Jokic meet with the media here. And let me read this tweet from my guy Josh Dover over at 104.3 The Fan, because I think this sums it up perfectly. He smoked a game-winning layup that he didn't even need to take and then fouled the shooter at the buzzer. Russell Westbrook has been a good addition, but this is what folks were afraid of. The agent of chaos cost his team tonight. Let's focus in on that last little portion there. The agent of chaos. That is the best way to describe the Russell Westbrook experience post-Oklahoma City. And he's been pretty good in spurts for Denver. I will stand on it. I've said it time and time again on this show. This year, this is the best basketball that Russell Westbrook is playing in his career. No, or not in his career. Excuse me. I'm brain dead. Since he was with the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's late, folks. This is the best basketball Russell Westbrook is playing in his post-Thunder career. Better than the Lakers, better than the Clippers, better than the Rockets, better than Washington, right? But you got to take the good with the bad. And Michael Malone, who loves to trust his vets, defended Russell Westbrook in his post-game press conference tonight, as did Nikola Jokic for that matter. That's what good teammates are going to do. That's what a good coach is going to do. But this game shouldn't have gone the way that it did, as Minnesota ends up winning it 140-139. Now, breaking it down there, Denver with a 1-point lead there with just a few ticks left on the clock, and Russell Westbrook playing a little patty cake down in and around the rim, around the basket, and instead of just kind of dribbling out, didn't need to take a shot attempt, didn't need to force a shot attempt. Instead of just kind of dribbling the ball out and letting clock wind down, getting fouled, going to the free throw line, whatever it might be, he ends up bricking a layup attempt that, gives Minnesota the ball back as time is winding down. And look, obviously, like it all starts and ends with that sequence of the layup. Should have never happened. And this is a guy in Russell Westbrook who is a 16-year NBA veteran. A guy who has been there and done that, a former league MVP. At one point in his career, a top 5 player in the NBA. And lacking situational awareness. And again, to go back to the tweet from my guy Josh Dover, the agent of chaos, caught up in the moment, was Russell Westbrook. Messes up the layup that didn't need to be taken. And instead of, getting back on defense the way that he should have, he gets uber aggressive, kind of like a bull in the running of the Bulls out there. What is that, Spain? And plays just uber aggressive defense on Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who ends up missing what would have been a game-winning shot had it gone in. But it was a 3-point attempt, so that's 3 free throw attempts for the Minnesota Timberwolves with 0.1 second remaining on the clock. And, of course, there's a difference between taking 2 free throw attempts and 3 free throw attempts. I mean, obviously, it's never fun either way, but you get a little bit of extra slack there with the 3 attempts. And, when you're up 1, that's just an absolutely inexcusable sequence to allow to happen. And, again, it's one thing if it's a young player. It's really not acceptable in general. A 16-year NBA vet, a former MVP, that is one way to lose a game, man. And, the question that I'm asking myself is, when you look at the lineup sequence tonight, no Jamal Murray, no Michael Porter Jr. So what did Michael Malone do? 9 times out of 10 this season, this is where Russell Westbrook starts. He did not start Russell Westbrook tonight. Russ played 38 minutes, though. Jalen Pickett got the start with 32 minutes of playing time. Now, their stats are pretty similar, but obviously the eye test will tell you something different. Jalen Pickett finishes with 9 points, 4 of 6 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. I thought he played well, +4 in the box, plus-minus, all things considered. Russell Westbrook, on the other hand, 38 minutes played, 0 of 3 from 3, 12 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, a -5 in the box, plus-minus, a couple of blocks and a steal. And I wonder if this opens up Michael Malone's eyes a little bit about how he wants to game plan for the playoffs. Because here's the primary difference. And I know Julian Strawther's coming back. I'm team Jalen Pickett, and here's why. Not just with Strawther, but Russ as well. Jalen Pickett will make the right play. Jalen Pickett will make the smart play. What Julian Strawther gives you is shooting ability, offensive firepower, that Jalen Pickett does not possess. Russell Westbrook gives you veteran leadership, tough-nosed defense, and energy. But when you've got the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic, and assuming Jamal and MPJ and Gordon, who balled out tonight, are going to be out there doing their thing, don't you want a guy that's going to make the right play? And look, here, I'm pretty confident in saying this. If Jalen Pickett's out there at the end of the game instead of Russell Westbrook, I don't think the game ends like that. I think the game ends in a Denver Nuggets dub. Fact of the matter. And it's a 140-139 loss. Denver now falls to 47-29 on the year, 25-13 at home. Minnesota improves to 44-32 on the season, 21-16 on the road. And we'll get into some of the numbers here throughout the course of the game. But that is just a brutal, absolutely brutal, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, way to lose a basketball game. And Russ did not speak with the media. We saw him kind of storm off the court, and then it looked, I don't want to speculate necessarily, but he was going halfway through the tunnel, then came back out, looked like he was, getting chirped at by somebody, had something to say himself. Aaron Gordon stormed off the court tonight as well. So clearly vibes were disrupted here tonight after what should have been a hard-fought signature victory for the Denver Nuggets this season, minus 2 of their best players in Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. But instead, it turns into a 140-139 loss where Nikola Jokic records a not 50, 60, 61 to be exact, point triple-double. 61, 10, and 10 for Joker, 6 of 11 from 3, 18 of 29 from the field. How do they respond? That's what we're going to find out here from the Denver Nuggets. How do they respond? But whichever way you slice it, that is as bad as it gets for Russell Westbrook. We'll see if Denver ends up trying to make any moves, what they want to do, whatever it might be, how they digest this one, how they get back after it. Jokic after the game talking about how, it's basketball, is going to happen, but internally in that locker room, some guys are feeling some type of way. I know I would. That is one heck of a way to lose a basketball game. So compounding errors from Russell Westbrook ultimately cost the Denver Nuggets in this one, as the Minnesota Timberwolves own the Denver Nuggets. What's the chant that, the Nuggets love to use towards the Lakers? Who's your daddy? I hate to admit it. There is no other way to explain it, though. The Minnesota Timberwolves are the Denver Nuggets' daddy, folks. That is 6 consecutive victories now for the Wolves over the Denver Nuggets, dating back to the playoffs last year, Game 6, Game 7, and now 4 games this season, all in a row. Denver's finding out a way to try to find an air bubble and come up for air here, because Minnesota has their number. Anthony Edwards did his thing. Julius Randle did his thing. And it's a frustrating loss. So, all right, let's hit a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue along with the conversation. We'll get into a little Nikola Jokic here, talk about Aaron Gordon, and some other thoughts here as the Denver Nuggets lose to the Minnesota Timberwolves, as Russell Westbrook has his worst moment of the season. Brutal loss. Denver now 47-29 on the year. All right, we'll hit a quick break. We'll come back and do just that. Follow me on social media at Media by AP. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button as well. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast. All right, you guys, real quick, let me tell you about our friends over at Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you just stop managing your money and start building the wealth, guys. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off of your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. Let me also tell you real quick about our friends over at Prize Picks. Baseball season is in full swing, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prize Picks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With Prize Picks, you pick more or less on at least 2 player stat projections, and if you're right, you can win up to 1,000 times your cash, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, Prize Picks keeps every game exciting. This week, I'm picking Aaron Judge for more than 1 home run. That cashed, and Shohei Ohtani for more than 1 stolen base. It's that easy. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. And last one here, folks. Let me tell you about Game Time. There's nothing like watching basketball live. Boy, if you were in the building tonight, even if you were a Nugget fan, that was a heck of a game. The energy, the crowd, the sound of the sneakers on the hardwood, and maybe even a celebrity sighting courtside. If you want to catch a game in person, Game Time makes getting tickets easier than ever. Game Time's new feature, Game Time Picks, filters out the fluff and shows you only the best deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time scrolling through thousands of tickets. I just checked out the Game Time app. I've used it before, and there are amazing deals on some huge matchups coming up. Game Time Picks even highlights super deals, giving you the best bang for your buck. And with seat views before you buy, no surprise fees, and a lowest price guarantee, you can book with total confidence. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. All right, welcome on back into your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I'm your host, Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. Do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button as well. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast. And unfortunately, it is a defeat show tonight as Minnesota gets the job done over the Nuggets, 140-139. We'll get into Jokic here in just a moment. We'll get into Gordon tonight here in just a moment as well. But just to put a bow on the errors conversation, what is there to say, folks? Is this the light bulb that goes off in Michael Malone's head maybe a little bit about trying to just put blind trust in Russell Westbrook late? Julian Strawther's going to come back soon. I'm team Jalen Pickett. I have been since we saw him get a real crack in this rotation. I understand, like I said, he doesn't give you the same firepower that Russell Westbrook gives you or the same shooting ability that Julian Strawther gives you, even though Strawther's been a bit inconsistent. But Jalen Pickett will make the right play. And when you're Denver, specifically in a game like tonight, with no Michael Porter Jr., no Jamal Murray, who, by the way, if Jamal in particular plays, I think Denver wins this one by double digits. But point being, you can't beat yourself. And I know that's a bit of a cliche in the sports world, but tonight, Minnesota, and here's the other thing, Minnesota did a great job of responding. Jokic would hit a bucket. Aaron Gordon hit a couple of threes late. And Minnesota would just follow, return fire. I mean, looking at it tonight for Minnesota, they had some big-time shots. Anthony Edwards was cold early in this game, but ends up finishing with 34 points, only 5 of 15 from 3. But a lot of those misses came early in the game. He had a couple of clutch 3-point shots late there. Julius Randle, 4 of 8 from 3 tonight. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 5 big 3-point shots tonight for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, these are the little things, right, folks? I mean, 26 points tonight for Julius Randle. 19 for Gobert, who fouled out. That's the other thing. Gobert fouled out. Denver had minutes of play. I believe the entire second overtime period as well. It's all blurring together, but Gobert was not out there in the most critical portion of the game for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Denver still couldn't take advantage of it. Denver was gassed. I mean, look at the minutes played tonight for the Nuggets. Again, short rotation for Michael Malone. The only player who played meaningful minutes off of the bench tonight was Russell Westbrook with 38. Second was Zeke Naji with 11. Any guesses on how many minutes Nikola Jokic played tonight? Any guesses on how many minutes Christian Brown played tonight? If your guess is 53, you're correct. 53 minutes for Nikola Jokic and Christian Brown, respectively. 53 minutes. Toss in 47 for Gordon, 45 for Watson, and 32 for Pickett. I mean, not even a single Timberwolves player played 53 minutes. Edwards and Randall were close with 50 minutes each. McDaniels with 44. Rudy Gobert with 40. But again, 53 minutes for CB and Joker. They were gassed, folks. They were in this game to the end. Should have won this game. But they were gassed. Missing Jamal, missing MPJ. So that's that. Flush it down the toilet. Russ did not meet with the media tonight. No shocker. At least that's what I saw before, unless he came back in, but I don't think he did. That's what I saw before I started the show. I did see Michael Malone defended Russell Westbrook as well, so check out those thoughts. And one more closing thought before we talk about something positive to end the show, which is Nikola Jokic and Aaron Gordon there a little bit as well. I don't know if you guys caught Michael Malone's comments on what would now be Monday afternoon leading up to tonight's game. He talked about how Minnesota, with what his scouts have seen, what the players have seen, what he's seen, Minnesota, if this is Minnesota's baseline, I mean, they're going to be a fringe play-in team or a fringe playoff team, right? If this is their baseline this year, when they play the Nuggets, it's here. Minnesota gets up for the Denver Nuggets. And this was a game, talked about it on 104.3 The Fan with my guys Cecil Lammy and Josh Dover last week. Cecil asked me, are you afraid of the Minnesota Timberwolves? I said 100%. How could you not be afraid of the Minnesota Timberwolves? And look, like I said, I think if Jamal plays tonight, I think Denver gets the job done. But this was a gut check game for Denver, with or without Jamal. And for Nikola Jokic to go Super Saiyan mode and put up a career-high 61 points and put the team on his back and carry the water, and Aaron Gordon doing his thing with 30, which is nothing to sneeze at, I mean, that has got to be a demoralizing loss in that locker room, especially if you end up drawing Minnesota in the first round, which is a nightmare scenario for Denver. And maybe the silver lining in all of this is maybe finally the breaking point that if they do have to play Minnesota in the playoffs, they look themselves in the mirror and say, all right, enough's enough. 6 straight wins, knocked us out of the playoffs last year as the defending champs, embarrassed us on our home court this year twice, beat us the other 2 times on their home court. I mean, when is enough enough? When is enough enough? That's the optimistic point of view for Nuggets Nation out there. The realistic point of view might be that they're just not good enough. The roster just might not be good enough, folks. Not just for Minnesota, but in general. And when you have Nikola Jokic playing as good this season as he has in his previous MVP seasons, if not better, something's not adding up, man. So it's frustrating. But again, let's give Jokic his flowers. Did his thing tonight. Again, 61 points for the big fella, triple-double, 11 rebounds, 10 assists, 6 of 11 from 3. Love to see it. Aaron Gordon, some ugly three-point shot attempts there late in the game, but ended up hitting a couple of big three-point shots that really helped keep this game close, made it look like Denver might have a chance to win this one. He finishes with 30, adds 8 rebounds of his own, 5 assists as well, and a block. Watson, 7 points, Pickett, 9. Christian Brown did his thing, double-double for CB, 18 and 12, added 4 assists and 3 steals, played good defense tonight. But when you think back to the Minnesota Timberwolves this season, when you think back to the matchups against the Nuggets, you're going to remember nothing but pain, nothing but Nug life. That's where we're at. Comment here from Will says, have you ever seen an athlete get table flipping mad in a locker room? If I was Joker, I'd be table flipping mad. I have seen it before. Jokic will not be that guy, though. Jokic will not be that guy. And it seems like Malone was defending Russ. You know, Aaron Gordon was more baffled. I don't think it's set in yet. So you hope that they flush this thing down the toilet and get back after it on Friday. That's where you have to go here. But any closing thoughts, go ahead and drop some comments, guys. It is late. It is now 12:06 in the morning on Wednesday, April the 2nd. Again, this was not an April Fool's joke. The Minnesota Timberwolves storm back and get the job done to take down the Denver Nuggets 140-139. Denver outscored Minnesota early in this first quarter, 32-26. You know, then it was kind of back and forth. Looking at some more stats here before we get out of here. Denver had as high as a 16-point lead at one point. Minnesota had as high of a lead as 8 at one point as well. But it's one of those situations where it is a tough pill to swallow tonight for the Denver Nuggets. They lost the rebound battle 52-45. 3-point shooting, 38% for Minnesota, 35% for Denver. Denver shot way better from the field, 54.7% compared to Minnesota's 46.8%. And despite a 61-point effort from Nikola Jokic, it is a 140-139 loss for the Denver Nuggets. But all right, that is going to do it for me, folks. Enjoy your night. Shake this one off. We'll get back after it again here later this week. Do me that favor on your way out. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. You can also follow me on social media at Media by AP. About as brutal of a loss as it can get as the Denver Nuggets fall to the Minnesota Timberwolves once again. They own them. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Hopefully we don't get to see them in the playoffs. I'll leave you with that. Have a good night, folks.